Alright, welcome to another video for Star Wars Galaxies. I haven't made one in a little while, and there have been some changes to my playing environment since the last video I made, which was about crafting. I have switched servers to the Beyond server instead of Legends. Really won't go into the reason why, but this video is really geared toward Beyond specifically, largely because I'm going to go over daily missions and why you want to do it. Now, when you start at a new character on a new server, you're going to run into the issue of you have no credits. Now, some of the servers will give you starter credits. You'll sign in and you'll get pop-up boxes with rewards that you can claim pretty much right off the bat, and then maybe another batch a week later after you've been there, for a little while, hopefully to prove that you're going to stick around. But in that meantime, in that first week, you really only have a couple of options to get credits, and that is to sell your vet rewards, which, if you don't care about them, great. There's a lot of players who are going to be interested in buying at least some of them. But if you want to keep them for future use, then you have to earn credits on most of the servers the quote-unquote old-fashioned way, and it's time-consuming. And it's just another roadblock to get you to being able to enjoy the game. Well, this server, Beyond, seems to have found a way around that. They implemented daily missions for your characters, and there's a giant list of them. There's a terminal outside the Mos Eisley Cantina next to the Super Battle Droid. And rather than click on the droid, you have to click on the actual terminal. You'll get this pop-up, and there are all these different options for daily missions, which when you complete it, you'll get either 75,000 credits or 100,000 credits per character per day. So if you have a crafter, there's one for trader, and you can click that, and then it pops up, and if I complete this, then I get 100,000 credits. So I'm just going to click on accept. And fishing, if you wanted to do fishing, there's an entertainer one. There's all these other options. World Bosses here is generally a weekend event. A whole lot of PvE thing, GCW, space, GCW in space. But the one that is the easiest and the fastest is this one right here for Mission Terminal. So you're going to go ahead and click that. And again, 100,000 credits. So what that is you take 5 missions from any mission terminal in the game. So if you want, you can go to the Entertainer mission terminal and click on this. And what you want to do here is you want to find the missions for the Mos Eisley Cantina. And that's the one that's going to be less than 100 meters away. Because what this one is it gives you a mission to go dance in a cantina on the planet you're on. But it doesn't really tell you if you click on this. So we see nothing in there. Perform inside the cantina. So you've got it, but it's a cantina that's 4,700 meters to the west. Doesn't really tell you which city, so you have to track down the waypoint, which is easy to do, but it's better to just find the one that's for the Mos Eisley Cantina. And it's not this one. That's for the Lucky Depot, Lucky Despot. So click on refresh until you get to the one that's basically right next door. And you do that just by looking at how far away it is. So right here, 93 meters. Click on this, you accept it, and you can get 2. You want to do 2 of them at the same time. and I'm not going to do this, but I'm just going to show you. Like, this character is actually a crafter, but because every character can do the basic dance, you can just let your character go AFK for 10 minutes, and doing this will count towards this mission and complete it. Now, like I said, I'm not going to do that because you can only do 2 at a time, and so that takes a half hour to finish the 5 missions, doing 2 at a time. So I'm going to dump that one and go back. And what you really want to look at, like the absolute fastest way to do it, is to go to the Artisan Mission Terminal and look for survey missions. Now again, I'm on a trader, so I've already got all the survey tools, but if you go here, you click on one, like for this one you have to find solid petrochems, and you have to find a 69% spot. And then you survey at that spot, it completes it, you come back here and you take another one. You do that 5 times and it's done. It's really easy to do. Now the really interesting thing though is with a little bit of planning and a little bit of looking around, you can go to either one of the big cities or a player city and look for something ahead of time to see if there is a high concentration of something that you can then go back to the terminal and specifically look for. And I'll show you what that is. So this is one of the player cities on Tatooine on Beyond. Now I already know which one's here because I've done it in preparation. So for example, I showed you the solid petrochem mission. So these are the solid petrochem resources currently in spawn. I'm just going to scan for this one because I know this one is the one that's right by the shuttle port, and it's up to 65, which is okay. A lot of the missions will work with that, and I need to adjust the range on the tool also. And survey again, and you'll see that the range updates, and you see the wider area. But that's not really the one I want to look for. The Kuberian steel, this one is a much higher spot right by the shuttle port. And so what I can do is I can then go back to an artisan terminal. Now I can either go back to the one I was just at in Mos Eisley, or I can go to a different one in a player city that I can shuttle back and forth to. So there's one in here, and it's right by the guild hall. And because it's so close to the shuttle port in each place, I can just use the ITV to go back and forth, and completing the 5 missions takes basically as long as it takes to find the appropriate mission in the list. So since it's steel, I want to find ferrous metal. So that's not going to work. And sometimes you get lucky and they pop up. Other times not so lucky, and it takes a while to find the missions. There's one. Now you want 2 because you can do 2 missions at a time, and you only have to survey once if you get the same type. So look for another ferrous metal. Yeah, and this is actually about average for ferrous metal because, like I said, some days it works and some days it doesn't. There we go. And as long as this efficiency is under the percentage that you scanned at, then you don't have to go searching. You know right where it is. So I know that it's in the other player city, which was called Dune Sea. So I can just ITV there, wait for it to load. Use the survey tool. Because I've already searched for it, it's still there. Click survey. And then you can see that I've got both missions that I turned in. So now I just go back to the artisan terminal and I do the same thing over again. I do this 3 times because the daily's only looking for 5 missions. Now, for the 3rd round, you can do 1, or you can sit there and plug away until you find 2 missions of the same type. It really doesn't matter. And the other thing is you don't really need to worry so much about the payment amount here, because you're not doing this for the 1,600 credits or the 900 credits. You're doing this for the 100,000 credits. So it takes you long enough to find the ferrous metal. You don't have to worry about finding a ferrous metal with a high value. I mean, it just worked out that that was, but whether it was 1,600 or 900, I still would have taken it, because it's the ferrous metal part that's important and not the amount of credits. Now, like I've said, this one is really for the Beyond server. The other servers that I've played on, I mean, you can see these daily missions are really, really tiny amounts. And generally, after you take 10 of them, the amount drops even more. Like, it won't show it here, but rather than 1,620, you know, on like mission 15, you'll get like 100, you'll get like 10% of this at most. So it's not really worth it on most of the other servers. And again, this server, it's only worth it because of the daily mission, you know, the one you turn in for the 100,000 credits. There is one other server that the daily missions are boosted, so it would be worth it there. But we won't go into that because it doesn't really have anything to do with this. Most of the servers you get to, this isn't going to be worth it. But for Beyond specifically, because of their daily mission system, it's completely worth it. And not only can you do this, you know, once a day, you can do this on all of your characters every day. So Beyond lets you have 8 characters. You can, I mean, if you wanted to spend the time, if you're just starting out, you can definitely use this to gain a nice cushion, especially since every character you make, whether it's a combat character or an entertainer or a trader, can use a survey tool. And if you already know where a high spawn point is, it doesn't matter what their skill level with a survey tool actually is. I mean, you can have a level 10 character hop back and forth, and a lot of the servers give you an ITV to start. So there's no reason not to do this on every character you make to get 800,000 credits per day. I mean, make 8 characters on the same day if they let you. I don't know what the time limit is in between character creation. Some servers are like 1 or 2 per day, others are like 1 or 2 per hour, but I don't know what Beyond is. I think it's pretty quick. And with Beyond, you can have all 8 characters on simultaneously if your computer can handle it. And most newer computers could probably handle it, as long as you're not going into your graphics driver software and cranking up the resolution beyond what the game was originally intended to use. But we've got one more, and I know you get the point by now, But what I'm doing is just, going to show you the turn in, because there's another little bonus with this. There we go. Got lucky. And I'm just going to get the 1 because, again, the 1,600 credits for like a second mission isn't the point. Getting the 5 missions done is the point. Don't have to go very far because that's why I chose this resource. It's just right there by the shuttle port. And it's done, and I get the little notification that it's done. Now I'm going to go back to Mos Eisley and go next to the console to turn it in. So one of the things that they also have is a mission, like a 3 times daily mission. So if you do 3 of the daily missions, you get this other extra mission and you get credit for that. And if you do 6 daily missions, then you can do that as well. The interesting thing though is, like, for example, for the 6 daily, the 3 daily counts as one of the 6. So you don't have to do 6 different ones from the list. You really only need 5 from the list. And then you do this one also. Now these used to expire every day. They recently changed it so they expire weekly. So you don't have to do 3 of these in a single day to get this, or 6 of these in a single day to get this. Now it's spread out over a week. So you can do what I just did once a day and only that, and then you'll get this twice in a week and this once in a week. And I've already got that because I'm going to switch to my mission list, and you can see the trader one, which I haven't started yet, the 3 times a daily, which when I turn this in, it's going to go to 2 of 3, and then the 6 dailies, which I'm at 5 of 6. So when I turn this in, it's going to go to 6 of 6, and I'm going to complete this one. And when I complete that one, that will be the 3rd, and I'll complete this. So just doing this, today, because it worked out, I'm going to get 100,000 from this one. I'm going to get 75,000 from that one, and I'm going to get 75,000 from that one. It's 250,000 credits for 10 minutes a time. Now, it's not going to happen every single day, but that's what's going to happen. Now, also, because you see this just popped up, that's separate. That's an extra 100,000 credit chip. So if you go into collections, they make these daily missions a collection also. So you can see daily task. I've got 4 out of 5 of the trader missions completed. I'm not going to show you that, but I'll probably do it today. The Beastmaster extraction, again, not going to do that, but that's really easy. You just have to get DNA from 20 critters, and guess what's right on the edge of Mos Eisley? A bunch of low-level critters that you can, poke for DNA. Really easy mission, takes like generally 20 minutes. The only thing I recommend is to kill the critters after you try to get the DNA, because the system remembers that somebody tried to get the DNA and then they become useless. So if you kill the critter, then the new one that respawns, the next person who does it can get the DNA. So, like, one of my pet peeves is generally, clean up the NPCs after you kill them, loot the corpse. This is along those lines. Kill the critter after you try to get the DNA so the next person can do the same thing. It's not necessarily a competition, this part of the game. There's lots of ways to compete for PvP, but that's not one of them, in my opinion. And so you just keep turning in. All right, I have none left, so it didn't. Oh, that was left over, so that wasn't accurate. So old data, it doesn't refresh until you actually ding something new. So that's why it didn't work the way I thought it was. But it is entirely possible for it to work the way I explained it. So rather than 350,000, with 3 missions and the extra token, I got 200,000 with the 1 mission and the extra token. So, I mean, it's completely worth it. It takes not a lot of time. It took longer walking you through this than doing it yourself once you get the hang of it. And that is pretty much it. If you have any questions, please just leave a comment. Have a good day.